Hello YouTube. In this video I thought I'd do something different, something I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is take one of my pencil drawings, for example this one here of Leonardo DiCaprio that I did that 10-part drawing tutorial on. I hope you've seen it. You have seen it, haven't you? Anyway, take a drawing that you do and transfer it to a t-shirt. Yeah, there's Jack. I'm going to show you how I did it with Leo. Stay tuned. Okay, this software came with the Silhouette Cameo 3. It's called Silhouette Studio. This particular version is 4.1. And what I found online is that this version and previous versions are different. So it makes it a little difficult when you're looking for online videos, training materials, and people are using a different version than you are, because you can't really follow along on a lot of things that they're doing. I find that to be unfortunate, because I learn a lot of things on YouTube, just like you are doing right now. There's quite a learning curve to this software. It's a very simple interface, and once you get to understand how it works, then of course it gets easier. But up here in help, you know, it does have a user's manual and instruction, tutorials and stuff. A little word out to the folks at silhouetteamerica.com is we need more training video on the latest software. When you put it out, put out more specific training videos on how to do various things. So important for us newbies to the craft of using vinyl cutters. Please, maybe I didn't go to the right place, maybe you already have it, but then that's a problem too, because it should be easy for me to find stuff, and I just been having a very difficult time. Anyway, what I have learned, I'm going to share with you so that hopefully you don't have to go through as much pain as I have gone through. But what I have learned, you know, it gets easier as you figure out, okay, this does this, does that, so forth. All right, I'm going to bring in a drawing of Leo DiCaprio that I did in a 10-part series. I hope you've seen that on my drawing of Leo DiCaprio. And you can go to File, you can go to Open to bring it in. Of course, I've already selected New Project. That's why it has this 8.5 by 11. Over here, your page setup, which is this page with the curled up corner here. That's the icon you select. Here you tell it what paper you're going to use. Mine's 8.5 by 11. That's what the transfer paper is. I'm going to use it in portrait orientation. And I also selected this Cameo mat because that's the mat that came with the machine. It's a 12 by 12 inch mat that's shown here in this gray image. And so that's going to help me know where to align my transfer paper when it is time to cut. Okay, so I can go to File and Open here, or I can select this open icon here, either one. And a bunch of my drawings here. I'm going to bring in Leo. Hello, Leo. Come on in. All right, so there's my drawing of Leo in pencil and graphite, and it's filling up the whole sheet. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to put registration marks on here, which will allow the cutter to know exactly where to cut my outline. It needs some kind of a reference, and that's provided with the registration marks, which is, you see this icon here, and it shows like a mark on the upper right, upper left, bottom left, right here. You click that. It says registration marks. You see it says style. It's off. Turn it on. Select Cameo Type 1 because that's the machine. And there's the registration marks. And the reason I'm turning that on now is because it also shows these hash marks. That's an area that's off limits. That's how I understand it. There will be no cutting done in these areas right here. So my drawing is already too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to that there, not for any particular reason. But I'm going to come over to, let's see, I got this already on the arrow, which means it's select. So if I come over here and click on it one time seems to be enough. I can change the overall orientation and tilt it to the left, to the right, whatever. I'm not even going to mess with that. You can see that's that green right there. Then you have these regular resizing boxes. I believe these are called in most applications. But if you go to the diagonal ones, or the ones in the corner here, and you click and drag, it keeps things in proportion. So I can shrink or I can increase the size of the image without changing the proportion, so he doesn't end up with a really fat head or skinny head, whatever. But everything is in proportion, and I'm going to put it down to here. I'm going to let go of the left mouse. This hand tells me I can move this around, and I want to make sure that the area I'm going to cut is nowhere in the area that's marked off by this hash marks you see here. Notice the registration marks is right here. There's one right here, and there is one right here. So I don't want to cover those up with my drawing as well, because the cutter machine needs to see these things. Don't print in this area. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to shrink him anymore, but I want to get any kind of printing out of there. I'm going to come over here to this eraser, and I'm just going to erase anything that's in that area, just to make sure that I don't have any issues, because the registration mark thing can be a little picky. Let me tell you, I spent hours trying to figure this thing out. All right. Now, the other thing too is, since I'm using transfer paper onto a light fabric, it's required that you mirror the image, because if you don't, you're going to end up pressing a mirrored image onto your shirt. You won't see it like this when you're done. It'll look like a mirror. So you want to mirror it on your drawing itself. Now this application, by the way, interestingly enough, will mirror it for you prior to you're printing the thing out, sending it to the cutter. I don't want to do that. I'm going to actually do it to the image itself. And so first off, get back to the select tool. Make sure that this puppy is selected, because whenever you use some of these things here, your cuts, your object, your moves, and rotates, all that requires you selecting your object. So I've selected my object. Come up here to mirror. I'm going to flip horizontally. There we go. Okay, now as you can see, I probably should have erased after the flip, so I'll just do it now. Let's see, the other ones are good. Okay, good. Back to the select. I want to get that back there. Now what I want to do is I want to tell it, I want to get this excess area cut out of here that I don't want to deal with. Now, I'm sure the application gives me a way to just come in here and tell it what to cut. I haven't learned how to do that yet. I'm still trying to figure everything out. But I have found a way around it for right now, and that is I'm just going to physically, I don't know if it's really physically, but I'm going to use this knife tool you see right here, and I'm going to select poly in this list here. Poly, I already had it up there, but if you don't see it there, select it. And also, because I want to get very precise, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to zoom in closely. All right, up and close with, I'm going to go down here to, see, I'm scrolling it up and down right here, and you can do it left and right here, okay? Pretty basic stuff. But I'm going to take my knife tool here, and I'm going to click somewhere, makes this little red mark, and I'm going to just start clicking, and I probably shouldn't get too anal about this, because it's going to look a little odd on my t-shirt when I transfer this. I got all these jagged things. And by the way, I mean, when you cut this out and you're trying to peel it, it can get a little tough to peel these little tiny slivers, so you're not going to see so much of it when you're transferring it. But what I want to do is I want to at least get most of that gray out of there, and just I want more of the drawing than the gray background, so that the shirt background actually, you know, the color of the shirt shines through on the edges. But I want to get close. Okay, now it just shot over for whatever, because I guess what happened is I ended up clicking down in this bar here. I'll move this over here. That's no problem. You don't care about this line following me around. That's not going to cause any problem. Just shift where you, I mean, just move your scroll bars where you need it to go, and then keep going. Real easy. No big deal. Okay. Bad thing, but kind of simulate that there is some kind of bounce to the hair a little bit, you know, like ups and downs, so it doesn't look too odd. And then I'm going to just connect it. Boom. All right, then it draws this white line. I'm going to go over here to zoom out. There we go. And I still have the knife tool activated, so I'm going to get that off. And there's select. Okay. So in this case here, I'm interested in getting rid of the, see, the whole thing is moving. I don't want that. I want somehow to just move the cutout part. So let's see, how am I going to do that? Now if I go over here, let's see, I select this. All right, that's cool. Okay, so it looks like all I have to do is just make sure I select the right item here. So right here, I got this selected, and I'm just going to kind of move it off to the side here, and then since it's still selected, I'm going to hit the delete key and it's gone. All right, well that works pretty good. Now I got to tell it that I want it to actually cut this out. Right now it's great for printing, but it hasn't been told what to cut. And for that, I'm going to come over here to this butterfly icon, which is the trace panel here. And I'm going to tell it to select the trace area. So I'm going to click this. You can see my icon changed to this little plus mark. But I could tell you that when I first clicked on this before, it was like I'm going, hey, why isn't anything happening? And I think the software could use a little more indication that something has happened. But if you move your mouse over here, you can see, oh, wait a minute. Okay, my cursor changed, so I'm in trace mode. And I'm just going to click off to the left here and drag a box over the area that I wanted to focus on tracing. And then it shows me in yellow what it's going to trace. Now I want it to trace the whole thing here, and right now it's going to cut out anything that's in yellow, or basically it's going to leave everything that's in yellow and cut around here, which I don't want that. So I'm going to come over here to the threshold because I already have it on solid fill, but it's not getting everything because the threshold's too low. So I'm going to move it all the way to 100 so that it just zaps the whole thing. And then I'm going to tell it to trace this, and since it's just one yellow object, it's just going to trace it out. This trace outer edge here would only trace the outer edge of whatever. So when I had the threshold, I guess down to here, I probably could get away with trace outer edge as long as the outer edge is all yellow, but I can see there's some of it that's not, and so I need that threshold. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that so I get everything in there. Okay, and let's see, get this despeckle thingy. I'm not quite sure what that's going to do for me. Probably nothing in this case. And I'm going to tell it to trace. And it should put this red, and I can't see it, so let me see. I don't see it. So all that clicking I've done may be for naught. So let me try this again. Going over here, highlight this. Okay, go to threshold and trace. There it is. Okay, now you should see this red line around the area. That's where it's going to cut. So now I'm ready to cut. But before I cut, I got to print. I need to print this puppy, so I'm going to go to File. I'm going to Print. There's my printer, the Artisan 1430. I'm going to set up the preference first. I'm going to give it a little more quality, text and image. I could go photo, make it a little richer. Why not just do that? The paper, it doesn't have transfer paper in here, so I just kind of say, let's see, presentation paper matte. Yeah, let's go with that. And then over here in advance, I'm going to tell it black and grayscale. Okay, and now I got to go put the transfer paper into the printer to get ready to print it.
Okay, so here's some transfer paper that I have. I'm kind of doing this with one hand holding the camera, so hopefully I'm not doing too much shaking around. And here's my Epson wide carriage printer here. Really love this. It's a really awesome printer. Anyway, so I've got the image paper in there, so let's go ahead and set the software to print.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and print. It's doing its thing.
Okay, printer is warming up here, and draw that paper in. What I really like about this printer too is I got it wireless because I'm over here on the other side of the room with my little command center here to send that image. And the printer is way on the other side of the room, and there's no way I'm going to cable across the room. But this wireless setup is really, really nice. And we should start seeing that image coming out here real soon. There it is. You can see that the registration marks have already been printed, and that's what's going to help that cutter, the Silhouette Cameo 3, align with the transfer paper, so it's going to know where the edge is that it needs to cut. Wow, that image is coming out really nice. Out comes the forehead, and here comes the eyeballs. And there's the mirrored image of my pencil drawing of Leo DiCaprio. Okay, now we need to get this thing ready for cutting. Now to do that is that if you'll notice on the screen there that we had the grid, the 12 by 12 grid, and I need to put this on that mat exactly the same way. And here comes the fun part. Okay, now here I got the mat, and I have this protective paper over it, and I'm just going to peel that off. Now, one of the things I want to warn you about with this mat, at least with the one I got here, it's really, really, really sticky. And I actually had paper tearing on here, as you can see here, when I was experimenting, because it just is so sticky. So just be careful, because don't press your paper down on it too hard. You may have trouble getting it off. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to align this on the 12 by 12 exactly the way I see it on the computer screen. And that is, the paper itself is going to go right up here like so. Darn sticky. It just causes me more problem than it helps. And just want to get it as straight as possible. Alright, I'm just going to barely press down here because I don't trust this thing from tearing my paperwork. But there we go. Now we've got everything in here. Time to put it in the cutter. Okay, I made this cool little pull-out drawer thing here for my Cameo. So it has some nice shelves and stuff, and I can easily just push it underneath my desk here when I'm done using it. And I went and got myself an extra long printer cable, because I couldn't get it to reach with the original. But there's the unit. Really nice, handsome vinyl cutter unit here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the power on, which is on the side here. There's a button. Push it. It's going to power on, and of course it's going to register with the computer. Okay, so then it comes up with this. I'm going to show you here. It says welcome, and it says load and unload. Okay, has a nice little visual screen thing. I really love this. This is a really neat looking machine, and it's got this automatic adjustment blade here, which is cool, so I don't have to mess with it. But I could do it manually if I want, and I can take it, put it in this thing, push it a few times, and it will adjust that. And who knows, maybe at some time I'll need to do that. Anyway, there's some marks here, so I'm just going to align the mat, left side of the mat to that line, like so. I'm going to hit load, and it's going to get it started.
Okay, so now that I've got the image, the mat in the cutter, and it's loaded, I need to now tell this puppy to start cutting. And you go over here where it says send, and it is here that you tell it what kind of material, and you can see that I've already selected heat transfer printable for light fabric. And you can select all kinds of different stuff: clipboard, cardstock, duct tape, printable duct tape, fabric. I mean, you could just print all kinds of stuff, which is kind of cool. So anyway, so here you have heat transfer printable. I got the action for cut, and that seems to be the only action I got available there. And then there's the auto blade, or you can use a ratchet blade or a deep cut blade. So apparently there are some options there. I have the auto blade. I'm going to go with that. Then I don't know why, I don't know what this no cut thing is about. Like, you know, isn't this the whole purpose of a cutter? Do you cut? I don't know. But I'm going to cut, boom. All right, let's select that. Now here it's already selected the blade depth as 1. So when I send this to the cutter, it's going to adjust that blade depth to 1 before it starts to cut. I'm going to send to the cutter, and then we'll watch and see what the cutter does. Now it's looking for the registration marks, locating where it is, calibrating the whole bit before it starts to cut. Now it's adjusting the blade to setting number 1. That's pretty cool. Well, it looks like it's going to cut. Good. And it is cutting. You can see it knows exactly where the outline of Leonardo is based on that trace line that I put on there.
Look at that. Precision. Awesome. Yes, I'm easily impressed. Look at that. All right, and it looks like it's done. It says working, so I'm going to wait until it tells me what. Okay, then it says here, job complete, unload. Oh, and catch it as it goes out. I don't think there's a shelf here, is there? Okay, so there's a shelf here. I didn't know that. Oh, you can put your tools in here. Awesome. I need to get me some tools, though. I don't have any. What's this one for? Probably for what? Oh, that little cutter thingy that it came with. It goes in here. I'll put that in later. Okay. Still exploring everything about this machine. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and get this off my sticky mat thing here. And that's going to be fun because it's really, really sticky. And I won't need this. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. All right, time to try to get this thing peeled off. Just in case, I'm going to get my X-Acto knife because it came in handy yesterday, that's for sure. And I'm just going to start to grab the bottom here and see if I can get that peeled off. Now you can see it's coming apart in two pieces because it's cut, and it's really did a great job of adjusting the blade to the correct depth. Look at that. That is really, really nice. Now I don't care if I ruin this outside piece because I'm going to throw it away. It's the waste. See, look at right there. It's really sticking and it's tearing. I don't care that it's this piece, but I'm going to care if it's my image. And I'm going to be very careful not to ruin it, especially with these jagged parts where I did the hair and probably shouldn't have. But there it is, tearing again right there, which is a drag. So let me get that out of the way. And see, it's just too sticky. So that would be one of my complaints, other than the steep learning curve, is having to deal with this sticky mat. Probably some people said, hey, the mat's not sticky enough, and they decided to make it stickier. I would have told those folks, hey, just go get some spray adhesive, buddy. Make your life a whole lot easier. Okay, anyway, let's see if I can get this off of here without ruining the mat as well with my X-Acto knife, because you can certainly do that if you dig too deep in there. See, this is a problem, and I know the folks there will be watching this video because I'm going to tell them that I put the video up and they should watch it. I'm sure they will. They're very interested in their products, no doubt. And they can address the training, get some more training videos for their latest software. Get it up there for us newbies. And hey, maybe include a mat that's not as sticky. If you have to have a super sticky one, include 2 mats then. How's that? Because that's just a little too much. I mean, I got this stuff tearing paper left and right, and I can't do anything about that. All right, now I want to get this off. I really need to make sure that I don't lose my image here. So here goes. Get that started. And I don't want it to curl too much either, which will happen if I pull on it like this, and I don't want to do it too much like that. So I'm sure I'm going to have to do some flattening. Okay, Leo, come on off. Wow, that's one sticky mat. I bet you that thing catch flies. Be very careful, don't rip your image. We did a lot of work here just to get to this point. And don't let it fall back down on there. I've done that before too, and that was no fun. Because I stop and rest and everything falls back down and sticks. Okay, here we're going to the hair. The hair is going to be tricky. Yay, okay. Put the protective mat thing back on here to save this for another rainy day. So you'd avoid getting a bunch of dust and stuff on it. There we go. Mat's protected. Put a lid on my X-Acto so my fingers are protected. And there's my curled up image of DiCaprio. Hey, what's up, man? Alright. Of course, now I'm going to have to flatten this somehow. So we get that flattened. I'm going to curl it up the opposite direction. Like so. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to actually put this on a t-shirt. Let's get to it. Okay, what I've done here is I've put a white t-shirt that I had available here on the heat press, and kind of flattened it out a little bit, a couple of seconds, got to get the moisture out of the shirt, and I've got a ruler up there. It's probably pretty hot by now because it's been sitting there for a little bit. No, it's not. Okay, that's good. Just to give you an idea where the center is. So now what I'm going to do is I also printed out a couple of these little babies, of course mirrored, and this one here is Rixcandoit, and this one says, "So can you." Where have I heard that before? Alright, so I'm going to put that up here, okay, just about 3-4 inches down, 3-4 fingers down from the very top. And that's going to go right there. And you don't want to take too much time because that heat will start to curl everything. And "So can you" will go down here. And then I'm going to go put my buddy Leo. Leo, there he is. Was wondering where he ran off to. I'll put Leo right here. And I hope I got this centered. I have a real problem centering things. I guess it goes with my age, but I'm going to center it like this. That's centered like that. And I think that's centered right there like that. Okay. I think that looks good. Get my ruler out of there. And time to press. This particular transfer paper, it's 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 seconds. I got a timer and everything going on over here, so it'll tell us when to get it off. Alright. Now this here is a hot peel or cold peel. If you do a hot peel, you got to do it right away. And that did not come out too good. That was terrible. That messed up my shirt. So I'm going to do a little bit more on the rest of this here because that did not work too well. A couple of seconds. That should be good enough. I don't want to get overboard. If you do it hot, you got to peel fast. If you do it slow, if you're going to do it slow, then you got to do a cold peel. That did not come out too well either. Boy, I am so disappointed in my work. I hope Leo comes out okay. I'm going to let this dry, or cool down, I should say, before I peel it. Then I can take my time peeling it. But it looks like I got a little messed up here on my shirt. Okay. the image came out great. Unfortunately, I messed up my shirt like so can yo on the bottom there. The U didn't make it. And on the top here, the it of Rixcandoit it kind of messed up. But as you can see, Leo came out perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. Now you've got to set your image though. That's another thing that's important. And I don't want to forget it, so that it will be washable for, you know, tens of hundreds of washes, whatever. So you put the silicone paper on there, cover everything, and give it about 30 seconds. And that way it sets the image in there. But that came out fantastic as far as his image. I'm not quite sure why my letters didn't come out. I'm going to guess that being at the extreme ends of this press, that it didn't press it well enough. So I probably didn't have enough pressure on the transfer, and because Leo was right in the middle, he got the best pressure. You have to, you know, you got to know your own equipment. I haven't really used this very long. I just recently picked this up. So it's all pretty new to me, but get that off real quick. But just check that out. That came out really slick. I'll pull that out, make it look better, make it easier to see here. But that's cool, don't you think? And that's how you take your pencil drawings and you put it on t-shirts and stuff, you know, and I think that came out pretty darn well. I mean, that looks really good, and you know, you can show your artwork off. Okay, well anyway, thank you for watching. I know it's a long video. I appreciate your patience, but you know, I hope you got something from it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thumbs up, please. Appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Bye.
Now this was my first attempt at it, and it came out great. I'm not quite sure what happened with the one you just saw me do, with the letter, the last letters not showing up, and I'm sorry that happened. But you know, at least you know this is all in real time. But the images in both cases came out fantastic. It shows my drawings really, really well. And I'm really happy about that, and I'm looking forward to the ones I do in the future as I get better at doing this. So this shows what you can do with your drawings with some transfer paper, a heat press, or an iron, and for example, a vinyl cutter such as the Silhouette Cameo 3 that I used in this video's demonstration. So again, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
You can't handle the truth.